आवाज आ रही है आपको?
Your voice is feeble, Anshul.
अब आ रही है सर आपको आवाज?
It is.
हेलो, आवाज आ रही है मेरी?
Yeah, Abhijit is audible, but Anshul's voice is very feeble.
ओके,
सर आप ठीक है आवाज?
आप ठीक
हाँ,
है?
अभी ठीक।
ठीक है अभिजीत शुरू करते हैं।
नमस्ते सर,
नमस्ते
नमस्ते टू एवरीवन. I am Dr. Abhijit Rao from Gujarat and this side Dr. Anshul Bahal from Dehradun. So before we are starting this live session, I would like to introduce our guest speaker, Dr. Hari Krishna sir. Welcome sir. Dr. Hari Krishna sir pursued his BMS degree from SDM College and obtained his MD in Kriya Sharir from National Institute of Ayurveda. He presented two papers of air in national seminars and published few articles in Ayurveda. He had delivered a public talk on the topic importance of Pathya in today's world on the occasion of World Health Day. He has 6 years of teaching experience. Currently, he is working as an associate professor at Kundpur Rural Ayurveda College, and he is author of the book Scientific Pathya in Ayurveda. Sir, very beautiful book, बहुत ही यूजफुल है पेशेंट्स के लिए और हमारे लिए भी. एंड वेरी इम्पोर्टेंट, सर इज ऑल्सो चीफ कोऑर्डिनेटर ऑफ हस्तालंबा VFFA प्रोजेक्ट, जो बहुत ही पूरे नेशनल वाइड वायरल फीवर को एज ए फर्स्ट एड आयुर्वेदा से ट्रीट कर रहे हैं. सो नाउ डॉक्टर अंशुल बाल, प्लीज स्टार्ट विथ योर क्वेश्चंस.
Thank you. Anshul,
Your voice is not audible.
Anshul
Your voice is not
is
audible.
not.
सर आवाज आ रही है?
Yes, now.
ओके नमस्ते एवरीवन. जैसे कि आप सबको पता है कि हमने 2023 में हाउ टू लर्न टू अंडरस्टैंड आयुर्वेद सीरीज शुरू की थी, जिसमें हमने फर्स्ट ईयर से लेके तो इंटर्नशिप तक हमने ये समझा कि हमें आयुर्वेद को पढ़ना कैसे है, और उसमें हमारे डाउट्स के आंसर डॉक्टर रम्या कृष्ण और डॉक्टर राजकुमार ने सॉल्व किए, और उसके सारे वीडियोस हमने यूट्यूब चैनल पे अपलोड किए हैं. अब हम नई सीरीज लेके आए हैं, उसका नाम है आयुर्वेद इज नॉट व्हाट यू थिंक. तो ये सीरीज का पर्पस मेनली ये है कि आजकल हम सोशल मीडिया पे हर जगह ये देखते हैं कि आयुर्वेद के नाम पे कुछ भी फैलाया जा रहा है. तो हम कोशिश करेंगे इस सीरीज में उन सब टॉपिक के बारे में बात करने की. तो आज जो फर्स्ट टॉपिक है मिलेट्स, ये वही टॉपिक है जिसके बारे में हम बहुत सी चीजें सुनते हैं कि मिलेट्स के अंदर आयरन है, मिलेट्स के अंदर फाइबर है, तो हमें उसे यूज करना चाहिए. कोई कहता है कि मिलेट्स डायबिटीज में अच्छा है तो हमें यूज करना चाहिए. कोई ये भी कहता है कि आयुर्वेद में मिलेट्स को श्री धान्य कहा है क्योंकि मोदी जी ने अभी श्री धान्य कह दिया है, तो आयुर्वेद में भी श्री धान्य माना गया है. और ऐसे काफी अफवाहें हैं. तो इस सीरीज में जो आज का फर्स्ट टॉपिक है मिलेट्स, उसमें हम कुछ मिथ्स के बारे में बात करेंगे और समझने की कोशिश करेंगे कि हम मिलेट्स को कैसे यूज कर सकते हैं, अपनी डेली डाइट में यूज कर सकते हैं कि नहीं, ये क्वेश्चन मार्क है. और दूसरी चीज कि मिलेट्स कब और कैसे यूज करना है, और भी बहुत से क्वेश्चंस हम कोशिश करेंगे कि इस सीरीज में बात करें, और डॉक्टर हरि कृष्ण भट्ट हमारे सारे क्वेश्चंस का आंसर देंगे. तो फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन सर ये है कि जो सर इस टॉपिक का नाम है श्री धान्य, हम मिलेट्स को श्री धान्य कह रहे हैं और आयुर्वेद में मिलेट्स को कुधान्य बोला गया है. तो सर आज की जो परिस्थिति चेंज हो गई है कि हमें लगता है कि अब मेटाबॉलिक डिसऑर्डर्स ज्यादा आ गए हैं और सब लोग संतर्पण जन्य आहार, तो मिलेट्स को हो सकते हैं क्योंकि आज के लिए वो हितकर है. आपको लगता है श्री धान्य बोलना सही है मिलेट्स को?
पहले तो हम देखेंगे कि मिलेट्स को हम क्या मतलब आयुर्वेद में क्या बताया गया है मिलेट्स के बारे में. So millets, they are, we get a reference in Vagbata as well as in Sushruta. Sushruta has told about 20 Trinadanyas. So it is coming under the umbrella of Trinadanyas. Trina means the grass, but it also has another name called as Kudhanya, or it is also called as the Tucha Danyas. So why it is told Tucha? The word meaning of Tucha means it is Nindita Danyas. So Nindita means it is unfit to be taken, or it should not be taken at first hand, or it is not the mainstream, is what I understand. Otherwise, they would not have given the name called as Nindita or Tuchadanya or Kudanya or Kutsitadanya, the name. These are all synonyms. So, by the word meaning and the placement of these we can understand, and also they are not included in Nitya Sevaniya Dravyas. You get references in Staulia, you get, and some disease context, you get Trinadanyas have been indicated, but otherwise, in Nitya Upayogi Dravyas also they are not mentioned, Trinadanyas. So with this understanding we must go forward. One thing is they are said as Kudanyas or Kutsita Danyas, but why they have been the government is promoting it is the point, and why it is called as Shridhanya. And an interesting point of view is Shri means Lakshmi, goddess Lakshmi. So it's a new brand that is going to give it's going to make a money. So in 2018 it was millet year, and now recently United Nations have come up with the idea of millets. Now it is an opportunity to export millets from India. This is the reason why it has been called as Shridhanya. Otherwise, there is no reason why it is to be called as Shridhanya. So this is the political point of view, why it is called as Shridhanya. Otherwise, coming to the aspect of health, suddenly everybody started talking about millet purely from the political point of view. Otherwise, if we are looking at the perspective of Ayurveda, can millets be included in our mainstream diet? Definitely not. To be taken daily? Definitely not. There are indications, definite indications, and contraindications. We shall see later what are those indications and contraindications, where we can suggest it and on what basis we can suggest, etc. But this is the meaning and this is the reason. So the word meaning of Trinadanya, and where it is told in Ayurveda, and why it is called as Shridhanya now, this is the reason.
Okay, sir. So my next question is, denourishing food such as millets, that is Kashaya Ruksha Vat Vriddhikar, should be included in our daily diet? If so, in what proportion should we intake it?
It should not be included in our main diet. So, provided we assume that swastha, we assume a person is swastha, and what kind of diet should be taken. So it is told kale sadhyam shuchi hitam lagu ushnam snigdoshnam lagu tanmanaha, then shadrasam madara prayo, then nati drutta vilambitam. So this is the food that has to be advised. So our meals should be predominantly of the shadrasa and madura praya. So we are taking cereals like shasti, shali, etc. We are taking, they are all madura rasa pradana, and we are taking the lentils, etc. along with the adjuvants with the salt or sour items and other things. So we meet the demand, that is snigdha, ushna and shadrasam, and madura praya. I have told all that cereals are to be taken, either goduma or shali, depending on the habituations they have come up with. So this is the mainstream diet that we need to have. Again, this is, we assume the person is swastha, and this is the main thing. And when it comes to the disease or when in a pathological state, there are different contraindications and indications according to the state and status of a person. So with this regard, in this regard, we cannot fit any food, the blanket order, like it has to be in daily diet or millets should be taken daily. It cannot be suggested, because by nature Trinadanyas are, it is said as Ruksha and Vatala and Baddha Vinmutra. These are the gunas which are told, and it is also Lagu, and it is important thing is Lekana. It has got Lekana properties, and Dravya Guna Prabhava of Trinadanyas are, it is Ruksha, potent Ruksha Guna Dravyas, and it goes against the interest of Snigdha Ushnam Shadrasam Madhura Praya, because it is Prabala Ruksha, because Ruksha Visheshat Khara and Lekana. So it induces or it imparts Lekana, etc. So that cannot be taken as a daily food, definitely not as a daily food. So the idea of introducing it or introducing it in a mainly diet is completely nonsense, or it is completely illogical based on our scientific standards.
Okay, sir. So it is said that denourishing food should be taken by obese person. Does taking only millet-based food will help in obesity? Will it help in like this will help in body to denourish all the nutrition value? Like only millet-based diet will help.
Yeah, that's a good question. We need to see why people are, even Ayurveda people are talking about millets in this what you call as Santarpanokta Vyadis or Santarpanokta Janya, Santarpanokta Vyadis, is because in 21st of Charaka, like let a lot of mentioning of there are lines mentioning of Shamaka, Kodrava. These are all the Proso millet or Kodu millet. Then these are all millets which are explained, which are indicated under the heading of the Staulya Chikitsa. He says, Guru cha atarpanam cheshtam stulanam karshanam prati. So it is told that in Staulya, Guru atarpana is to be done, though the normal, the general Lakshana features of Trinadanya is Lagu. He says it is to be made into samskara, it has to be made into gurum krutva, it has to be given to attain guru atarpana kind of diet to the Staulya, because Gnani Medo Harani, it should be Vatagna also Sleshma Medo Harani. So this is the idea why in Staulya Chikitsa you can see Shamaka, Kodrava, etc. Trinadanyas. But the problem is we cannot go for a blanket order of S or suggestion of Trinadanyas to be included, because we need to talk about many things, and any suggestions or denials should come, and it is person specific, and that is what we call it as a diet or wholesome diet to that particular person, because it is the intrinsic environment or the internal environment of that particular patient or that particular person, subject, which is more important. Staulya may be, or obese person may be associated with beta cell dysfunction or insulin resistance, or he may be suffering from hypertension, associated with hypertension, or he may be associated with hypothyroidism, or he may be associated with autoimmune diseases, or may be associated with hypersensitivity. So there are number of permutations and combinations which are there. So blanket order of it is to be included in, because all where you can see that it is the overweight person. So everywhere now people are suggesting millets. So a person comes with hypothyroidism and he is gaining because of hypothyroidism. He is having immune dysfunction. They are suggesting millets. PCOD along with the type 2 diabetes, Staulya, they are going for millets without assessing the state and stages of a patient. So this cannot be done. This cannot be done, and the point is, it is the person's internal environment that has to be assessed properly, and According to that, we need to suggest any, not just the millet or any kind of food. Yeah, I'm not telling that it cannot be. Again, I told blanket suggestion, blanket order suggestion, and also denial is not possible. I'm not denying it cannot be given. It can be given. Judicious application can be done. For example, if at all Langana Lekana need to be done in a patient where the Agantu Kapadosha is present and we need to go for Langana and Lekana, we may suggest judicious application of Trinadanya may be done for a particular period of time till the desirable pala is achieved. So that's the message that we need to give. But uniform, like you cannot say that it can be given for all the obese patients. It is not possible. For example, Madhudakam. Madhudakam is also told in Staulya. We see many patients who come who take Madhudakam and developing hypersensitivity and so on. So the comorbidities and status and stage is also important. Example, Tikshna Bastis are also told. Recently I met a patient who happens to be 100 plus, he's having 100 plus kilos, and he went to an Ayurveda doctor and he took Lekana Basti and etc. and developed fissures and diverticulitis and so on after taking on all those things. Just an example, these are all blind applications of the principles taken from the textbooks and giving it to a patient. Even for food articles also this cannot be done. So blind applications, taking the treatment, or we are taking some words from the textbook which are written in that particular chikitsa and we are applying it. It is not possible. That is why there is one reference which is told that hitam ahitatve api ekanta niyamo asmat anishtitaha. So ekanta niyama is not possible in hita and ahita. Anything you cannot say. Ekanta niyama means it is like a uniform rule. This is hita and this is ahita. It cannot be done. It depends on matra, yoga, kriya, then desha kala, then avasthadi vedataha. Avastha is very important. Ama, nirama. So all these avasthas are also to be assessed. So without assessing we cannot done. He says apatyam also patyam also apatyata mayati. So even patya can become apatya by if you are not following all these rules. So patyam then apatyam patyancha. So apatya can also be made into patya depending on all these factors, and apatya can also be made into patya. So what is very important is what I've been told is matra, kriya, yoga, desha, kala and avastha beda. So all these are to be assessed properly before suggesting any treatment or any food articles or anything. So this is the point that we must understand. So ekanta niyamo asmat anishtitaha, that cannot be given. Uniform, you cannot say that blanket yes or no. So that is the answer for the question you have asked.
तो सर, जैसे आजकल आयुर्वेद कम्युनिटी ही इस बेस पे रिसर्च कर रही है, जैसे कि अग्रय द्रव्य में बताया है कि गवेदुक कार्श्य कारणम, तो गवेदुक खिलाया जा रहा है कुछ लोगों को जो ओबेस हैं, तो ये टाइप की रिसर्च भी फिर इलॉजिकल हुई ना सर, कि एक गवेदुक तुम इतने लोगों को खिला रहे हो जो ओबेस हैं, मतलब सब कुछ कंसिडर करने के बाद ही हमें ये चीज डिसाइड करनी चाहिए। सिर्फ अग्रय द्रव्य में दिया है कि गवेदुक कार्श्य कारणम, तो गवेदुक ही दिए जाए ओबेसिटी में, ये भी इलॉजिकल हो सकता है सर फिर तो।
या जॉब टेस्ट मिलेट, इसका जो ग्लाइसेमिक इंडेक्स बहुत कम माना जाता है। ये दे थिंक दैट बाय टेकिंग हाई ग्लाइसेमिक इंडेक्स फूड्स, हाई इंसुलिन, हाइपर इंसुलिनेमिया इज हैपनिंग. So it is not the point in Santarpanokta, the utilization end, when energy is not properly being utilized. So it goes for Dhatu Agni Mandya. So Dhatu Agni has two purposes, one to form its own Dhatu and another one is the function of that particular Dhatu, that is energy whenever the work has to be done. So when that utilization end at that point, then there is Dhatu Agni Mandya. A person is not doing exercise or he is following the sedentary lifestyle, etc. So at utilization end there will be Dhatu Mandya and increases that particular Dhatu. This can also produce the stagnation of sneha or the nutrition in the circulation, because at intake end also there could be dhatu mandya because of this. So there can be no utilization, or there can be lack of exercises. So at the utilization end, it is not happening properly, or metabolic defects, the Agni Mandya, that can also be there, and also excess nutrition. So these three factors are all there in Santarpanotha Vyadhis, or you can say people are only telling that it is because of sugar which is taken, excessively white sugar or excess of carbohydrate which are being taken. It is the reason for hyperinsulinemia or high glycemic index foods. With this logic, they are going and saying that millets are to be taken, with which are having the job state millet, which you told Gavedukanna, it's having very less or proso millet also. They are telling that they are having very less glycemic index, and that could be utilized. By taking this, what happens? We are actually training our body wrongly. So we are going for Vishama Dhatu, we may end up with. We are going for toxic metabolites also. Already, if the person is habituated to some ahitas, or the person's immune system has become ahita already. So with the matra, kala, kriya, etc., what happens is bhuyataram apatyam apadyate can happen. So it is told apatyam api desha kala, etc. pramana ati yogat bhuyataram apatyam apadyate, it is told. So it can become very high apatya and can end up immediately, it can lead to fatal issues. Sometimes, because owing to its immune strength, they may not develop fatal diseases, but when opportunity happens, it may develop into a disease. So all these seeing efficacy with food and medicines, efficacy of such and such food with such and such, is again, I tell it as a nonsense. The research protocol must be changed completely, because we are following just the protocol of Western medical science, and we are just seeing the efficacy of particular food and etc. So again, as I told earlier, so many factors are to be assessed before suggesting these things.
Okay, sir.
सो मतलब सर, अभी जो इन्फ्लुएंसर्स है वो बहुत वीडियोस बनाते हैं कि डायबिटीज में मिलेट्स खाओ, ये तो इसका मतलब ये हुआ कि पब्लिक के लिए बहुत ही ये देख के और तुरंत ही फॉलो करना बहुत ही खतरनाक है, डेंजरस है। तो इसको
बिल्कुल
भी
बिल्कुल
इसको भी मतलब स्टॉप करना चाहिए, वरना वो हार्मफुल इफेक्ट ही दे रहा है, कुछ भी देख के आप अप्लाई कर रहे हो तो।
बिल्कुल, इसलिए मैंने वो जो बोला था मधुदकम, so
राइट।
people are taking it blindly, just like millets are also now people are taking. I have seen many people, because here now healthy drinks are coming up, which are made of Shridhanyas or these millets. So they are powdering it and making it millet there and drinking it. So uh, again, many people develop diabetes, like high sugar, because owing to many reasons. There could be compromised liver functions. Uh, it could be associated with so many other things. So without assessing the stage and state, people are following. They are sure they are trapped. They are into the trap. So we must educate. That can only be done by the science-based practitioners of Ayurveda. So we can educate the people that we cannot go for such things blindly.
Sir, my next question is, what is the difference between nutrition and nourishment as per Ayurveda? क्योंकि कैसे न्यूट्रिशियस फूड को एज ए सुपर फूड बोल के उसको प्रमोट किया जाता है कि इसमें कार्बोहाइड्रेट है, प्रोटीन है, पर आयुर्वेद इसको कैसे देखता है?
इसके लिए हमें देखना पड़ेगा कि why they are telling is nutrition, because in Western science everything is based on recommended daily allowance, that is RDS. So and so mgs are to be taken, so and so international unit iron and calcium, vitamin, etc. are to be taken, micronutrients are to be taken, etc. This much of carbohydrates, etc. These are all based on epidemiological studies as well as in vitro experimentation. So based on that, they have come to a conclusion that this is the RDAs, that is recommended daily allowance. But हमारा साइंस में ऐसा नहीं है. We are not having this nutrients or the concept of न्यूट्रिशनल बेस्ड और न्यूट्रिएंट्स बेस्ड न्यूट्रिशन, इसके लिए हमें देखना पड़ेगा कि व्हाट इज बैलेंस्ड डाइट. सो बैलेंस्ड डाइट may change from person to person. It is that which produces congenial environment. So it provides a congenial environment. If it is diseased for the medicines to act, or it depends on the internal environment of that particular person, and which facilitates absorption and assimilation, etc. So any food which is taken, it should be absorbed, it should be assimilated, and based on the metabolic demands of the tissues. This is very, very important, and that is the nutrition for that particular person. So we say that the tissues are nourished. This is nourishment. The tissues are nourished when that particular food is absorbed, assimilated based on the nutritional demands of the tissues. So, and it is based on the internal environment. So it has to maintain the internal environment of that particular person. Also, if there are any variations, it has to correct the physiological variations. So all these all these factors, if they are satisfied, we call it as balanced diet as per Ayurveda, and we say that tissues are nourished. And nutrient based, so they are not having any words or no assessment on whether these are absorbed or not. For example, I'll give you an example from my practice. One pregnant woman, like she came and she told that she is suffering from iron deficiency, and her iron level is not at all improving in spite of taking the folic acids and iron supplements, etc. She was, I think, fourth month. She was in the 4th month of pregnancy, and when assessed, she said she had UTI and now it is okay. She had taken a dose of oral antibiotics. No, when I evaluated, she is still suffering from UTI, and even the culture was positive, and all those things evaluated and guidelines were started. And when this UTI was solved, I have asked her to stop the supplements, and when after that, when this SAMA state was properly treated and her HB level also improved. This is one example. There could be many such examples in all doctors' experiences. My point, this is the point. So this is the difference. So we are giving blind recommendations, even in pregnancy or even in all individuals. We are saying this much of proteins are to be taken, this much of carbohydrates are to be taken, this much fat and this much vitamins, this much fibers are to be taken, etc. So this is the main issue. People are going behind protein powders, they are going behind supplements, whether they are needed by the body, whether they are assimilated or absorbed, whether there is a tissue demand, whether it is maintaining their homeostasis, whether they are healthy under the parameters which are mentioned in Ayurveda. None of these things is evaluated. So this is the answer for the question which is asked. So nourishment concept is entirely different. It is completely different from what has been explained in modern or Western science.
जैसे सर आपने एग्जांपल दिया, मेरा ही केस था, मुझे डेंगू हुआ था तब लिटरली मेरा एचबी, आई वाज ऑन एसएनएस, मतलब मैं ओनली आई वाज ईटिंग मूग एंड एसएनएस साइंटिफिक, हमारा जो पथ्य है वही, तो उसमें कोई सो कॉल्ड न्यूट्रिशियस फूड नहीं था जैसे वो बताते हैं. स्टिल मेरा एचबी 5 to 6 डेज में 1% इंक्रीज हुआ. तो ऐसा बहुत लोगों के साथ हुआ है जो एसबीए के प्रैक्टिशनर के पास ट्रीटमेंट लेते हैं कि एसएनएस फॉलो करने के बाद भी एचबी इंक्रीज होता है. तो जो आपने बताया वो. सो सर अंशुल, नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन.
मैं ऑडियंस को बता दूं कि अभी अभिजीत ने एसएनएस वर्ड यूज किया तो वो सोचेंगे कि कोई नया इन्वेंशन है, बट एसएनएस मतलब साइंटिफिक न्यूट्रिशन शेड्यूल, मतलब कि पथ्य. पर पथ्य ऐसा नहीं कि जैसे डॉक्टर्स कह देते हैं सफेद चीज मत खाओ, पीली मत खाओ, लाल मत खाओ. पथ्य अकॉर्डिंग टू द डिसीज स्टेटस, तो उसको हमने एसएनएस नाम दिया है. तो यहाँ पथ्य सबके लिए अलग अलग होगा अकॉर्डिंग टू द स्टेटस ऑफ डिसीज. अगर आम होगा तो पथ्य अलग है, निराम है तो पथ्य अलग है, स्नेहपान है तो पथ्य अलग है. तो हमने उसको एसएनएस कहा है, साइंटिफिक न्यूट्रिशन शेड्यूल, जो अकॉर्डिंग टू द पर्सन टू पर्सन वेरी करेगा। ओके सर, मेरा नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन ये है कि सर जैसे हम देखते हैं कि आज के टाइम पे एप्पल इज गुड फॉर हार्ट, वॉलनट इज गुड फॉर ब्रेन, ये ट्रेंड है कि एक जो पर्टिकुलर द्रव्य है वो इस चीज के लिए बेस्ट है, तो उसे कंज्यूम करना चाहिए। तो सर ये आयुर्वेद ऐसी कोई सुपर फूड थिंग प्रमोट करता है, लाइक कि डज आयुर्वेद प्रमोट दिस टाइप ऑफ सुपर फूड थिंग कि ये चीज खाओगे तो तुम्हारे लिए ये बेस्ट रहेगा, या जैसे हम आज मिलेट्स का ट्रेंड देख रहे हैं तो सब मिलेट्स के पीछे दौड़ना शुरू कर दिए हैं, तो आयुर्वेद कोई ऐसी चीज प्रमोट करता है कि आपको ये खाना है तो आपके लिए सब कुछ ठीक है, आपको और कुछ चीज करने की जरूरत नहीं है, ऐसा कुछ है सर?
नहीं है ये, इसलिए मैंने पहले बोला हित अहितंच एकांत नियमो अस्मत् अनिश्चितः, मतलब हियर एकांत नियम इज नॉट एट ऑल देयर फॉर एनी हित और अहित, so you cannot say uniform like directly you can say this is apatya for, yeah, there are definitely for healthy people there are like valluram shushka shakani that not be taken daily, and there are some foods which are to be taken daily. There are some things which are told that is to promote the deha satmya, or you can call it as, you can increase the sammanana or deha satmya, so just to promote yukti krita bala. So in that sense it has been said nitya upayogi dravyas etc, but there are nothing like superfoods like now the trend that which happened in during the COVID, like chavanaprasha increases immunity, this is just like that. So it has nothing to do with these things. So what you have asked is like superfood, so that concept is not at all there in Ayurveda. You cannot promote any such food articles, not just millets, any such food articles. It may be anything. So we can give some scientific advices based on the nutrition. You know, we can, susceptible individual, we can say that, so you have to give the Shruta Shita Jala, which is anabhishandi, and you can avoid abhishandi aharas. And such scientific advices in susceptible individuals we can advise just to keep their health intact, or to keep the health checking. So otherwise we cannot promote such any such like superfoods, not just millets, any superfoods. We cannot say ekanta, so like blanketly blanket order, like it has to be taken daily. Such things are not at all explained in Ayurveda, or we cannot do that also.
सर जैसे न्यूट्रिशन और नरिशमेंट आज हम आयुर्वेद व्यू पॉइंट से समझना चाहें तो, कि अगर कोई एक लेमन पर्सन है, उसको ऐसा लगता है कि ये न्यूट्रिशियस फूड है तो वो उसे कंज्यूम करेगा तो उसे नरिशमेंट मिलेगा, तो लेकिन सर आयुर्वेद में तो ऐसा नहीं होता कि न्यूट्रिशियस फूड कंज्यूम करने के बाद ही नरिशमेंट मिलेगा, वो तो उसके स्टेज पे डिपेंड करेगा कि उसकी अग्नि दीप्त है और भी बहुत से फैक्टर्स हैं कि वो डाइजेस्ट भी कर पा रहा है उस फूड को। तो सर ये जो चीज है आज हम कैसे बताएं, मतलब कि सब लोगों को यही लगता है कि ये बहुत अच्छा है, इसमें विटामिन है, इसमें मिनरल्स है, तो हम इसे कंज्यूम करेंगे तो हमें भी वो मिल जाएंगे। जैसे हम देखते हैं कोई आयरन रिच फूड खाने लग जाएगा, कोई मशरूम्स खाने लग जाएगा, तो ये चीज हम कैसे सर आसान भाषा में समझा सकते हैं लोगों को कि नरिशमेंट और न्यूट्रिशन फैक्टर दोनों अलग अलग चीज है, कि अगर तुम एक चपाती भी खा रहे हो वो भी तुम्हें नरिश कर सकती है, ऐसा नहीं है कि तुम्हें चपाती के ऊपर कोई त्रिफला रसायन लगा के खाना है तभी तुम्हें नरिशमेंट मिलेगी। तो ये हम कैसे सर समझा सकते हैं एक लेमन पर्सन को कि न्यूट्रिशन और नरिशमेंट बहुत एक अलग अलग चीजें हैं?
ये अभी मैंने अभी ये आंसर बताया था, बट अगेन आई वुड लाइक टू रिपीट। इसलिए इसके लिए हमें एक बैलेंस्ड डाइट के बारे में समझना चाहिए। व्हाट इज बैलेंस्ड डाइट एज पर आयुर्वेदा? Balanced diet is that diet which is decided based on the internal environment of that particular person. So that particular person's internal environment, it has to maintain it, and if there are any corrections to be made, it has to promote, and it should facilitate the absorption assimilation of the food, and depending, it is to be decided depending on the metabolic needs of the tissues. इसको हम balanced diet कह सकते हैं। और it should, if it is to be taken by a healthy person, now it has to obey certain things like Shadrasam Madhura Prayo. So it should be predominant of Madhura, and it should be consisting of Shadrasa, because Ekarasa Abhyasa it's not good, because it can act based on the virya, like just like Nidana, just like a cause factor, and it can produce diseases, or it can produce an susceptible environment for the development of the diseases. So it should be Shadrasa predominant Ahara, but Madhura predominant, and Lagu, and it should be easy like execution of movements and everything. It should facilitate the movements in the body, and all metabolic processes are to be happening very smoothly. So it should be Lagu, easily digestible, and Snigdha, it should be anxious, and also Ushna. Ushnam, it also facilitates metabolism. So all these factors it should be obeying. So such things we call it as a balanced diet, and that has to be advised. And there are some certain things which are not to be done, like atyabhishandi. It should not produce, or it should not induce hypersecretory effects in the body, or it should not be ati vidahi. It should not be producing burning sensation, and vistambi, like admanakar. It should not be producing the excess flatulence, etc. And also the food, the kind of food habits we are following, like it should not be adyashanam, like before the digestion of the previous food, or vishamashanam, like it is mixed with the patya and apatya are mixed together. Such rules are to be followed whenever we are deciding the food pattern. And also it is to be decided based on the status of a person, and not definitely not based on any nutritional values. So how much iron, or it should contain how much, these things. So with this concept only we can decide the balanced diet as per Ayurveda. So we should keep certain rules which I told you. So such things are to be kept in mind and should be decided. And also habituation is very important. So like the person kashana goduma. So some people may be taking goduma and they are habituated to goduma, and some people may be habituated to rice. So these things can be kept in mind, and it should be asked. Suddenly somebody says this is good, and goduma and the wheat and rice are having high carbs, and it should be avoided. So somebody next day they avoid it and go for some other protein, like they are taking some millet biscuits, or they are taking some ragi biscuit or anything. They are replacing the meals with these things. So again they create such an environment for the they become susceptible for the development of the diseases. So this is the difference, the main difference, which as per Ayurveda and the Western science.
ऑडियंस में से किसी ने पूछा है कि सर डज पोर्शन साइज हैव एन इम्पैक्ट?
Yes.
डज पोर्शन साइज हैव एन इम्पैक्ट, ये किसी ने ऑडियंस में से पूछा है आपसे अभी.
You mean to say the quantity?
Yes, sir.
It is told that kale hitam mitam. Kale means in the right time, when the person is having good hunger and observes the jirnahara lakshanas. Jirnahara lakshanas are those features where the digestion of the previous meal. So he gets a very good hunger. So he is having shuddha udgara, that clear belching, and all those features which are told in science are there. He has to take the food in mitam, moderate quantity, which is explained, one part with the food and one part with it should be kept empty, and one part should be taken, the water should be taken to facilitate the easy digestion. So it is not that full stomach food is taken. It should be moderate quantity. The quantity is again tailor made. It depends on person to person. So it cannot be generalized for everyone. This much to be taken, this much should be taken. It cannot be generalized. Again, it depends on person's ability. So he has to observe his capacity by himself. So only then we can decide in that particular person. So the quantity cannot be generalized.
अभिजीत.
So सर इसका मतलब इधर ये भी हुआ कि ऐसा बोला जाता है कि ब्रेकफास्ट लेना है, फिर लंच लेना है, फिर डिनर लेना है, तो वो भी कंसेप्ट इधर रॉन्ग है। अ,
मैकेनिकल वे,
क्या सर?
mechanically doing things as per the
यस।
schedule, mechanically.
हाँ।
अब हम सब पेशेंट से भी पूछते हैं कि आप कैसे मतलब खाना कैसे लेते हैं, तो बोलते हैं कि सर मैं तो वेरी स्ट्रिक्ट हूँ, मैं परफेक्टली खाना मतलब खाना वगैरह सही से लेता हूँ। 8 o'clock ब्रेकफास्ट, 12 o'clock लंच, 4 o'clock स्नैक्स एंड 8 o'clock फूड। मैं कभी खाना मिस नहीं करती हूँ, मैं और करता हूँ, और मैं इसको सही से लेता हूँ। दे थिंक दैट दिस इज द वे दे शुड बी डूइंग इट, सो दिस हैज बीन taught in schools. Now I'll give you very important message. In the schools today, what is happening, you know, the children are forced to bring the snacks whether they have appetite or not. They are fed like they have to get the snacks, they have to have something at 11 o'clock. Otherwise they are having now new concept that sharing and caring, and they will tell that your friends, they will exchange among themselves, and they are giving and they are feeding kids without the permission of the parents. The upbringing, the nutritional concepts which are taught at the primary education itself is wrong. So we are educating our children very wrongly, and we are expecting miracles at the top. This everything is which is being practiced today is wrong, especially in the primary education where we should be asked to observe the hunger and all those things. That is not being followed today. So this is the most unfortunate thing. Children are they are falling ill frequently. They are falling ill without the consent of the parents. The medicines are given in the schools without the consent of the parents. The food, the sharing and everything is being done. So the whole concept at the primary education itself is wrong.
राइट सर। सर, ऑडियंस में से एक क्वेश्चन पूछा गया है
हाँ
कि
जी।
in modern science there is a general parameter of carbs, protein and all for all individual, and is there any
Yes.
concept in Ayurveda where common people able to understand what diet is taken or not? तो वो तो आपने सर बताया रूल्स जो।
मैंने अभी बताया था,
यस यस
बोला था,
राइट राइट।
मैंने बोला we don't have that
कंसेप्ट। हाँ हाँ।
recommendation is there.
और सर जैसे गुजरात में लोग बाजरा लेते हैं, ठीक है, और कर्नाटक में रागी लेते हैं,
हाँ,
फिर कुछ कुछ सीजन में, हाँ
कुछ
कुछ कुछ,
जिला में, मंडिया मैसूर में रागी लेते हैं। हाँ, हासन
बट
में
इधर,
रागी लेते हैं।
यस, तो इधर क्या है कि विलेज में ज्यादा लेते हैं, तो मतलब अर्बन पीपल है वो भी फिर लेना स्टार्ट करते हैं कि बाजरा लेना चाहिए, बाजरा अच्छा है, हेल्दी रखता है। जैसे आपने हैबिचुएशन का कंसेप्ट बताया कि सातमईकरण हो जाता है, ठीक है, तो सर वो सातमईकरण हुआ फिर भी वो इल इफेक्ट देता है क्या बॉडी में? खराब इफेक्ट जो है वो देता ही है कि फिर सातमईकरण के बाद नहीं देता है इल इफेक्ट? इसको कैसा, क्योंकि आयुर्वेद डॉक्टर्स भी ऐसे समझते हैं कि सातमईकरण हो गया दैट मीन्स उसको कुछ असर नहीं होगा, वो खा सकते हैं, तो सर इसको कैसे देखा जाए?
ये अच्छा क्वेश्चन एक्चुअली। लाइक लोगों को लगता है कि सात्म्य हो गया तो ये कुछ असर नहीं पड़ेगा या कुछ नहीं होगा, इसलिए इसके लिए हमें सात्म्य के बारे में कुछ समझना पड़ेगा कि सात्म्य क्या होता है। People think that it auchityena, that okasadmyam, when people think that it is okasadmya, the habituation is not always good, so there could be wrong habituation also. So it is, habituation means it is kritrima actually. So kritrima satmya and kritrima asatmya is also there, so that we have to understand. Now you should understand what is satmya. Satmya is, he says, prakriti desha kala, sorry, prakriti rutu desha kala vyadi tulya gunaihi pratak viparita gunaihi satmyam tulyam asatmyam iti. So swagunaihi pratak tulya gunaihi satmyam viparita gunaihi, that is tulyam asatmyam iti, means the gunas or the quantity, the quality is opposite to the desha, kala and prakriti and the dosha and vyadi. It is called as satmya. So satmya means, for example, desha satmya. So he is living, so suppose you told about the bajra. Bajra means the bajra in Rajasthan it is taken, but when it is taken mainly in winter season it is taken. So because that millet is usually the Ushna, it is Ushna Rasa, so it is taken. But when it comes to, it is the Bhumi Satmya, it is even told in Ashtanga Sangra and in our Samhitas or also it is told, Bhumi Satmya. Like, for example, I have already told, it is told as Sindhu Pradesha Matsyaha. It says Sindhu Pradesha people are, Matsya is, what you call it, it is Satmya. It is like, they, Bhumi Satmya it is, Bhumi Satmya it is. For example, Maruvasi, in Maruvasi, Dadikshira, Karira, etc. told that it is in Marubhumi, it is Satmya. So it is called as Bhumi Satmya. It is explained in Ayurveda also. But when it comes to there is a rule which is explained that we have to understand. So otherwise, the Rutu based food or do's and don'ts wouldn't have been explained. If at all, the Satmya. Many people think that they are habituated to certain food articles, means they have to take, irrespective of their health condition, they have to continue that. It is not going to happen. Otherwise, the Rutu concept would have not been explained. So when it comes to Desha, the Rutu Satmya is better. So he says that Desha, Kala, then Prakriti, Dosha, Vyadhi Satmyanam Uttarottaram Bhavet. So these 5 concepts we need, 5 parameters we need to understand. When it comes to Desha, the Kala Satmya or the Rutu Satmya is to be followed. When it comes to Rutu and the Prakriti Satmya is better. So to his own Prakriti, depending on that, opposite qualities food he should practice. When it comes to Prakriti and Dosha, the pathological factors, then Dosha Satmya is better. So when it comes to Dosha and Vyadhi Satmya is better. So when the person is suffering from that particular Vyadhi, one particular disease status, he is food articles. So his food articles should be according to the Vyadhi. It is called as Vyadhi Satmya. So people are telling that I have been habituated to this food article, so I cannot stop when you ask me to stop. Especially when Ayurveda doctors, the conventional Ayurveda doctors become patients, they argue with you. So they think that I have been habituated to this, how can I stop? For example, Ragi, if I ask them to stop, I cannot stop because it is Patya. But you should again should analyze the Desha, Kala, Prakriti, Dosha, Vyadhi Satmyanam Uttarottaram. So this concept is very important. Again, Satmya means, I have already told you what is Satmya. It is Desha, Prakriti, then Kala, then Dosha, Vyadhi, Viparita. That is the Satmya. And if it is Tulya, it is equal to that the qualities, then it is Asatmya. People think when it becomes habituation, it is universal good. So it is good. Irrespective of the conditions, it is good. It is not like that. So it could be habituations may be Satmya, also habituations can be Asatmya. Sometimes wrong Satmya, like wrong habituations also, because it is explained. Vyayama Stigdha Deeptagni Vayasta Balasalinam, it says Viruddha Apina Pida Satmyam Alpam Cha Bhojanam. People think that when we are taking it in a long term, when we get habituated, it does not produce. Sometimes it may not produce. If at all they are habituating the wrong food articles, sometimes it may not produce, sometimes it might produce, or sometimes it delayed onset of diseases may be there. There may be some inhibiting factors, maybe because of immune power, they may not be developing into disease, but they may be developing Vishama Dhatus also. So that we can understand by studying that particular subject. But to sum up, the habituation, like we are talking, for example, I tell you one patient said that Madhu is good. Madhu is good because she is Kapha Prakriti, so Madhu can be good. It is not like that. So when she is suffering from any disease, for example, I came across a person who says she was suffering from dengue, and I asked the medicine and protocol was going on. She gave the medicine along with Madhu. Suddenly, when the next day when the assessment was made, platelets went down again. I was suspecting, and I cross-checked and found out that the medicine was given along with honey. So I said Madhu is good. Madhu is told in Nitya Upasevani Dravyas also, it is good. It is not like that. When it comes to Vyadhi, the Vyadhi Patyas are to be assessed, or Vyadhi Satmya are to be assessed. So opposite to the Vyadhi, the habituation should be made. So these are all very crucial things we need to understand. So again, anything they are taking Bajra, etc. If they are habituated, Deha Satmya it has become, they can take as long as their health is maintained, they can continue to take. But when they are suffering from any pathological, they are in the pathological state, it has to be assessed by a science spirit practitioner, and accordingly the satmya should be decided. Satmya means that which is good, atmana saha, or it should be conducive to them, favorable to him. That is called as satmya, and opposite is asatmya.
तो सर फिर भी इतना बोले, फिर भी हम लोगों को जैसे बोलते हैं मिलेट्स फिर भी खाना है, अगर खाना है तो वो कैसे ऐड कर सकते हैं अपनी डाइट में?
नहीं, इसको जबरदस्ती खाने की जरूरत नहीं है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल मैंने बोला था इट शुड ओबे दी षड्रसम अपि मधुरम मधुर प्रधानम एंड दी स्निग्धोष्णम लघु तन्मना, ऑल दिस रूल शुड बी it should be obeying it. Again, I told you there are some indications where it has to be taken. In spite of this, if person is taking it, if it is asatmya to that particular person, it will not act as the food, because the ekarasas or dvirasa foods, the food articles with ekarasa or dvirasa will not be acting as a food. It will act based on the virya, and virya may interact with the adhikarana and produce ill effects, just like nidana or causative factors, and immediately you may land up in diseases. So sudden practicing or suddenly adopting such food articles, owing to the advertisements and all those recommendations, may put them in risk. I have seen this in many cases, where they suddenly started with these Shridhanyas, and they started developing hypertension immediately. So, and again I told, this will not obey the order of action of food articles. Food articles, they get absorbed, or they are acting based on rasas and vipakas, but whereas the medicines, they act based on viryas, and these food articles with 1 or 2 rasas, just like they are suddenly introduced in the food, they may act as a causative factors, and suddenly they may end up in diseases. I have seen many cases where people are suddenly starting ragi, etc., thinking it is good, and suddenly ending up in diseases. So this can happen. I will tell you an example. Person came with a backache. She went to orthopedician and she came. Her motion was not happening. The bowel movement was not regular. Somebody suggested her ragi, so she has been taking ragi. So, like again, the concept of introducing, like it is good for when people have this Ushna Shita concept in a very crude level. I don't know how far it is true in North India, but here in the local place where we live, they have this concept of Ushna and Shitya in their own level. It's a very crude understanding. So they think that certain food articles like the coconut water, ragi, etc. are coolants. They induce cool, and certain food articles they produce Ushna. So I'll come to this case. So she started taking ragi, and she came and I explained everything in detail, but I diagnosed it as the pelvic inflammatory disease. She was suffering from PID, and because of that she had backache. So her CRP was high and she had symptoms. So initially in 2 days she had very good improvement. On third day again she came and said, I am unable to wake up, my backache has increased. When I cross-checked again, she took ragi, and I asked who told you to take, and all those things, and she has been taking just for facilitating, like the things that it is coolant, and she can, because she had burning micturations also along with PID. It's a part and parcel. So all these things, people think that it is millets are good irrespective of the condition. So what happened is that on the third day again the CRP went, this inflammation increased. So when it was stopped, then later she responded well, and backache also got relieved, and all those things. So safely she came out of the infection. My point is, अगर जबरदस्ती इंक्लूड करना है कैसे भी करके इसको वहां लेना है ये लेना है, again it is to be decided based on the status and stage. It cannot be done like hazardly
Right.
or without assessing the condition.
Right. सर एक ऑडियंस में से क्वेश्चन है कि व्हाट आर द हार्मफुल इफेक्ट ऑफ टेकिंग दिस मिलेट बेस्ड डाइट, मतलब एग्जांपल्स आप बताओ क्या हार्मफुल इफेक्ट आ सकती है ऐसे, जो जैसे अभी मिलेट्स के ऊपर भी अभी मल्टीग्रेन्स आ गया, इसमें भी मतलब
बिल्कुल
मिलेट्स को भी एक साथ इकट्ठा करके उसका ग्रेन बनाते हैं और वो देते हैं, तो ये सब खाने से मतलब क्या और क्या साइड इफेक्ट्स आ सकते हैं, ये आप थोड़ा बताओ.
Right, side effects again. It should be. It can be said, or it can be predicted, or it should be studied in a particular person. I told you, one depending on the type of millet they are taking, or their comorbidities they are existing in that particular person's subject. How is his immune status? How is disease status? What are the comorbidities? What is his hunger status? So everything should be studied to predict any side effects. We cannot even say that this can produce this side effects, definitely. But generally, these millets are basically having this lekana properties, especially vatakrit. It is vatala, baddhavinmutra. So many people are susceptible to hypertensions, etc., because they are not assessing. Pratilomata may be there. They are not assessing the conditions that they are taking. So many people end up in constipation, like improper evacuation of the bowel. I'm not telling that all the people can end up, because I told you the person has to be studied to predict and to understand side effects. But if it is not taken judiciously, or it is not taken, or it is taken in the unintended status, definitely it is going to produce the ill effects. I told how it is going to, because it is going to act as a nidana or a causative factor. It's not going to obey the order of absorption of a food article. It will obey the order of the absorption or action of a medicine or a potent dravya. Based on virya, it is going to act. So it may produce even a very small side effect to a very grave side effect can be there if it is not taken without proper assessment, or judiciously if it is not decided and taken.
So sir, अल्टीमेटली जो प्रमोशन हो रहा है वो सुपर फूड का नहीं है, ऐसे न्यूट्रिशियस फूड का नहीं, बट ऐसे आयुर्वेद के जो प्रिंसिपल्स है उसका प्रमोशन करना चाहिए ठीक से, कि ये प्रिंसिपल जो सिद्धांत है हमारे खाने के लिए उसका प्रमोशन, और वो डॉक्टर्स को भी, आयुर्वेद डॉक्टर्स को उसका ही प्रमोशन करना चाहिए, नहीं कि मिलेट्स खाओ तो ये ठीक हो जाएगा, ये करो तो ये ठीक हो जाएगा. तो सर आप एट द एंड ऐसे
नहीं, द प्रॉब्लम इज आयुर्वेद वाले क्या मतलब हम करते क्या है, देखो 2018 में ऑल ऑफ ए सडन फ्रॉम नोवेयर मिलेट्स वेर टोल्ड टू बी टेकन एंड ऑल दिस blah blah. I told you what is the business interest and what is the economical point of view. I've told you why it is told as, say, then it's a market now, it's a fund, so market. People are thinking to like from the point of soil also it is not good. I spoke to one of the farmers, like I listened to one of the farmers, he was telling it is not even if the people are exporting it and it is not being utilized in India also, it is not good, because any crops which are grown, it has to come back to that particular bhumi also. It is not, so from that perspective also it is not good. But the point is, so आयुर्वेद वाले क्या करते हैं, मिलेट्स के बारे में बात किया तो बोलते हैं कि हाँ हमारा आयुर्वेद में मिलेट्स के बारे में बताया, श्यामा का, गोद्रवा, इसके बारे में बताया, तो ये खाना चाहिए, इसका ग्लाइसेमिक इंडेक्स कम है, तो इतने सारे थीसिस होंगे एमडी में सडनली, क्योंकि मिलेट से हमें वो जनरेट करना है, एविडेंस जनरेट करना है. सो द एफिकेसी ऑफ गवेदुका अन्ना इन ओबेस इंडिविजुअल्स, सो मेनी theses are going, they are coming up, efficacy of such and such millet in that particular, because they want to say that it is already been told in Ayurveda and they want to take the credit. So they are nowhere thinking whether it is judiciously being utilized or We are the authentic people to say do's and don'ts. We are not doing it. We are just yadva tadva. We need somehow we want to be highlighted, and somehow we have to come into the picture. And just like in COVID, somewhere, kuch bhi karo, idhar karo. We want to be, people wanted to be warriors. Somewhere, even it is a second degree thing, they want to go and they want to become a corona warriors. Adjuvant also, they are giving all sort of medicines. Along with there, they are giving this Giloivati and all those Sudarshana, they are dispensing all those. So this is also like that. So people want to, because funds have been received, now they want to say that it has been told in Ayurveda. They want to generate evidences. Now efficacy of all the millets have been running. These studies are being taken, and they are being studied. So this is the most unfortunate thing, I feel.
राइट सर, वेरी ट्रू। ये सबको समझना चाहिए, सब डॉक्टर्स को बोलना भी चाहिए इसके ऊपर शायद। और सर मतलब थैंक यू, आपने अपना इतना 9 o'clock हो गए, मतलब 1 hour हो गए, एंड थैंक यू, आपने अपना इतना टाइम दिया, प्रीशियस टाइम, और हमारे इतने सारे डाउट सॉल्व किए हैं। और आई होप ऑडियंस के भी बहुत सारे डाउट सॉल्व हुए इसमें। सो थैंक्स टू ऑडियंस ऑल्सो। एंड ऐसे ही हमारे साथ जुड़े रहिए। हम कोई नेक्स्ट एपिसोड में कुछ नया ऐसा टॉपिक जो जिसके ऊपर बोलना चाहिए और जिसके ऊपर साइंटिफिक फैक्ट एज पर आयुर्वेदा रखना चाहिए, ऐसे हम टॉपिक के साथ आएंगे। तो थैंक्स टू ऑल। ओके सर, थैंक यू, नमस्ते।
Thank you so much, Anshul Bhai and Abhijit Bhai. Thanks for giving an opportunity for me to come online and speak few words on the millets, the judicious application. I hope I have done justice to the topic, and also would like to hear the comments of our pioneers, Dr. Rajkumar and Sir and Dr. Ramya Krishnan. I hope I have done the justice, and I have tried my level best to reach to the public and to keep my explanations as much as simple and as much as simple as well as not complicated, just to reach the public. So I would like to receive the feedbacks also regarding the topic. Anyways, it's a great initiative, and you are doing a great job. You team, the Satartha Buddha team, you are doing a fabulous job, and like people need to be educated in this way, because we are the ones who need to educate the people. If we remain silent, nobody we will remain silent only, because truth is not going to come out. The lies are very busy roaming around, and the truth is very silent inside the room. So we should not be silent. Of course, amidst all our busy schedules and our personal works, we need to make some time to reach to the public and talk regarding various public oriented points and very important personal aspects, etc., where we need to reach the people. There is a necessity. So thanks for the opportunity. I would like to thank our pioneers also, Dr. Rajkumar sir and Dr. Ramya Krishnan, for giving me this opportunity, and the team. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. सो इधर किसी ने पूछा बुक नेम ऑफ हरे कृष्ण सर। सो बुक का नाम है साइंटिफिक पथ्य इन आयुर्वेदा। वी विल शेयर द लिंक इन SBB पेज।
Scientific Pathya in Ayurveda Contemporized.
Contemporized, right? Okay, sir.
Scientific Pathya in Ayurveda Contemporized.
Right.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Can we leave?